Alrighty, so we
My
should be
audio's already
good.
included. Yeah, my
Alright,
audio's already
cool.
included.
Maybe hit uh include unincluded and then include it again just in case, because I know sometimes it's a little tricky like that. With that said, the stream is back up for those of you listening along. We apologize on that one. Go ahead, where you? I'm sorry, guys. You're gonna have to re-include your audio because it's not included apparently. You're gonna have to do what I said. Uninclude it and then
Oh,
include it
I'm
again.
back. I'm back. Ryan, just for anyone who didn't hear, Ryan lied. He said nothing was going to happen. You weren't going to miss anything.
Yeah.
Little did you know, Owen is lagging very, very badly, really badly. It started raining in Q1 as well.
And of
So
course, with restarting the stream, it makes you sound like a robot a little bit too. So, yeah, I do see Owen's lag now. It's funny because a similar Mercedes lagged here as well earlier in the season, or earlier last time we were here in Tier 1, and it was Luke. But, yeah, stream should be fixed. Again, my apologies. I really hate that because we just lost tons of viewership from it. We had 14 of you watching it maximum. We've not had that in a Tier 2 race in a long, long while. Either way. We're at least going to watch Owen just in case anything crazy happens. Crazy enough that Gecko went 4th fastest. You have Mythic, who is 16th. Oh, Owen is very badly lagging.
I do not know what's going on with this poor kid.
Owen is very badly lagging. This is really, really bad.
I feel
Oh
bad
my
for anyone
god.
racing against him.
I mean, Luke's lag in Brazil was a little bad, but I don't think it was... I mean, it was around this bad. I don't know. Hopefully, if Owen is streaming, he does stop the stream because Luke was still lagging afterwards, but he was not lagging very badly. He was lagging small bits and bits here. Yeah, it looks like he just tried to recreate his own crash from...
off track or what's
He did go off track, but it looked like he was about to recreate his own crash from season finale there. Mythic's invalidated. Mythic's off the road. Leon's on track. Leon's trying to make a last-ditch effort to try to get into Q2. We're at least going to watch this lap because we only got to watch one lap. Turn 4 we go. Past the Senna S's, the Cida del Lago, and all these famous corners around the circuit. Leon is going purple, but I doubt that purple is true. 18-1 through the first sector. I don't think that's anywhere close to what anyone's doing, but luckily for Leon, though, if he can somehow get a nice little lap in here, he might be 17th or 16th, but definitely not anything that will get him into the top 15, and it looks like it's just trumbling down for him.
I'm going to be brutally honest with you. Leon is not getting anywhere above 18th. It's too wet.
I know. Now it's getting way too wet. He looked like at the first part of the lap hunted, he would have been okay, but now he's just sliding everywhere.
Oh, once the wet hits the track, it's so hard to call. I mean, we had it in Tier 1 Brazil as well, when it was last-ditch efforts to, and as a quickest man out on track to set some laps, as Leon's still going to come across the line to set the lap. He's done a 1:15.2. Fair play to him. Well done, Leon.
Yeah, similar circumstances. He's the last car left. He was going to be out of qualifying anyway, but now he's definitely out of qualifying. So the bottom 3, the ones eliminated, include Mythic and the Haas, Valkyrie and the Aston Martin, her Aston Martin debut, at least in Tier 2. She was Aston Martin in Tier 1 in Miami, another race that it rained, and Leon Miner, who is still yet to retire for Williams. In fact, he did take points here in the sprint. His first DNF on this game cycle in Tier 2 came in this race a week ago, but now he is out of qualifying and just waiting on him to retire. 90 seconds to remain in the session, but it looks like we'll get a wet Q2 with that being said, Hunted.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder what the race is going to entail. I kind of don't want to know. I want it to be a surprise.
Let it be a surprise. I love it.
Let it be a surprise. Let's let it be. He's only 2 attempts out in his lap. Go on, Leon.
If he can improve in the second lap, I'll be happy for him. You know what? He might be 6 seconds off the pace, but you know what? If there was a 107% rule in RPL, he's trying to race to get in it.
Put in more laps. Here we go. Yes. Ah.
3/10. See, that's how much the track is just ramped up in the last 5 minutes. You know, I said, oh yeah, nothing's going to change. I mean, he cut the corner, but I don't think it's going to make a difference considering the fact that he's the only one out on track. He's not going to improve. I don't think anyone will look to report that. And if they do, that is quite petty. Either way, it's funny because just by cutting the track there and gaining that time, you only gain 2/10. So that is how much it's really not helping the drivers out there. And we're going to be on to Q2 and figuring out who's going to do what. Get us your predictions. I think Leon's predictions is that there's a wall right about here. But he missed that wall, so.
Oh, he's showing off his unique drifting skills.
And cutting the track skills. This is Leon Minor activities here.
This is Leo Manor at his finest.
As far as I'm aware, Leon Minor is not a minor, but he does do a very good job at impressing us, whether that be from F1 2019, Tier 2, Tier 1, F2. He's just showing the stream some tactics here. Everyone's probably pissed off at him, saying just retire. But
I don't think he realizes how long this qualifying is actually going to be and how long he's making it right now.
This is either why you love or hate Leon. Simple as that. And I will say, to the credit of Leon, I mean, he's going to get stuck right there if he didn't get out of there. But to his credit, he did say himself he does not like full qualifying. He thinks it's a stupid idea for Tier 2. And he's kind of showing his opinion right here, isn't he?
Is this a protest? Is he protesting?
I don't know.
Qualifying in Tier 2?
I mean, he didn't really like the idea to begin with, but maybe that's why he waited. All right.
Oh. Oh, dear.
Aww.
Oh, it's stopped.
Well, there you go. There it is. All right, so here is the bottom three. You've got Mythic, Valk, and Leon. I think the big surprise definitely comes from home race hero Valk. She definitely had a chance to come back and impress, but she did not do that. Invade's only 7/10 up the road. I know it was a tricky qualifying session for most if you didn't get the lap at the first half of the session, but with that being said, for Valk, a first start for Aston Martin is not the best one in returns, but definitely my surprise for drivers out of the session. I kind of expected Mythic to be down there. Leon, I expected to be down there. However, Valk, I didn't really expect to be down there, if I'm being honest.
I noticed Titan said in the Tier 2 predictions as well that he reckons Valk's going to prove herself and get a podium or a win. I'm going to be honest, I don't know if I fully agree. I'm going to be
podium, sure.
Box.
Win,
you reckon?
I know.
Well,
there's rain. Okay. So, yeah, Florian did a podium for Aston Martin. And I believe Aston Martin, if I'm correct, I'd have to double check, but I believe they got a podium the season prior, in season 9. And, you know, I'll double check on that. But the fact of the matter is, I don't think an Aston Martin's winning. Do I think an Aston Martin's getting a podium, though? I think there's a good chance with it. I mean, Invade comes to mind as one of the underrated drivers. Val comes to mind as one of the drivers with pure pace, but not a lot of racecraft. So I think if she can put together a race with a lot of racecraft, then it's possible. However, Q2 underway, and yeah, you did mention a podium or a win this season. Do you remember where Lennon and Florian started? That was the original one too. They started the last 2 rows in the grid. Can you imagine if Valk and Leon 1-2 somehow?
Oh, honestly, if Leon wins a race, I'm jumping out the window and recording it for RPL.
All right, so you've heard it here. Everyone can clip that now, and there's your message on what Hunted is doing if Leon or Valk wins. Either way.
I didn't specify which window.
That's true. That's true. But you have to jump. You can't just go out the window like normally.
No, yeah, I'll jump. So, right, Will's on. Will is out.
I was gonna say, surely I know this track has got a lot worse. It's probably almost wet conditions because there's 2 drivers thinking of wet tires and rest are inters, and Will is probably thinking, well, it's going to dry up at some point, so I'm going to wait for the soft period.
I would say this is wet.
I do too. It's very monsoon-like. I think it's similar to real life qualifying with how wet it was. I mean, we're going to get us a real hot lap around here, Hunted, and I'll have you take over in a moment, but Will has abolished the idea of softs. Everyone's on inters except for 2 cars, and now the first driver on wets, which is Tadpole, is out on track. And you can see a lot of spray being kicked up. It's Zatsy going through turn 1, the Senna S, to the curb right there, the inside one. Now the inside one for turn 3. He's just drifting it around, similar to how Leon was the last session at the end. That is how treacherous it is. Out of turn 3, you could see how much he's drifting. Leon would have went by the first sector by now. Zatsy comes through 2 seconds later. That's the time difference. And you can just see it through the front tires here. The amount of spray being kicked up and all the dust with the dampness on the track. It is absolutely treacherous through here as he goes through 6 and 7. That to the left there, that's where Leclerc crashed in real life. In fact, it's where Owen crashed in tier 2 in the later stages. Now he comes through the curbs here. This is just treacherous. I think Tadpole made a good decision by the wets, Hunted.
Tadpole made a great on the wets. Just by looking at the track, I think maybe they've seen that it's light rain to start off with. Everyone got out the boxes really, really quickly. Tadpole's made a really, really good call here in terms of putting it on the wets, putting it on the wets straight away at that. I mean, you've also got Zatsy here still trying to set a lap, but there's a queue of cars following behind him now on laps, whether or not they come in or they stick and set the laps. I feel like in even wet conditions, you've got to stick it out and set the lap. And who's he got behind him? Is that where he started a lap? Zatsy goes a 1:24.6.
Alex Bear.
There you go, 21.7. Stenner proving his patience coming down from tier 1.
I want to see Tadpole cross the line first, and then I'm going to get to JTK, because these guys are in wets. How much better does it look for them? You can just see the amount of puddles everywhere, and it's just so tricky. This is the conditions that Mercedes thrive in, as Owen goes second, splitting the Ferraris. They won here in Monza. In tier 1, look at Tadpole, even he's struggling. He's just got a tank slapper there off turn 12, coming to the line. No more braking zones left. Couple turns left though. Turn 15, now here he comes to the line. He's going to be fastest, I think, just by just a little bit. Yeah, 21.2, so it was the right call, and now we get to see from JTK's on board.
The good thing about driving on your wet tyres is you can put more than one lap in, and so you don't necessarily have to worry about your first lap being bad. And I mean, a bit of heavier fuel in the wet conditions as well, a little bit more stability. But you can just see how much more grip these cars in the wet have. I feel like everyone's definitely going to be forming into the pits now, and JTK is probably out at the right time where maybe the traffic's going to clear up from a little bit. Tadpole decides to stick it out as well. I mean, just look at JTK going through now. He's almost flat for those two and heading up the hill. He hasn't had a switch at any point during this lap, so heading up now, this track becomes really tricky to drive in wet conditions. I wouldn't say it's necessarily one of the easiest tracks on the calendar. That is a pretty easy track to drive, but when you've got your ABS off and your traction control off, and it makes it a lot trickier around this track, especially some of the corners, prone to locking up a few tyres, and in the wets it doesn't help you as well. You can just see the amount of DRS he's saving on this lap. I don't know if he's got it on or he's got it off. If feels like he's messed up his lap, he's not too far off Tadpole's sort of time popping through the middle sector. Looks like, ooh,
wow,
he's nearly spun it coming out of there. Big save from himself. But there you go, Tadpole, as you can see, setting the lap. He's getting to grips with the wet conditions now. Oh, and that's Jackster. Jackster's around,
and he's out of the session.
That's where me and George had our crash.
He's not going to make it
there
through.
We go.
Wow.
And the car's been cleared, sadly. Oh, Kipu coming through. Still looking at 10 lap times.
Yeah, you got Kipu on a lap. You said on the inters. He's 7/10 up. I'm going to go on board with Gecko, actually. Just want your opinion on two things here. So you have the McLaren Academy with Tadpole, or sorry, Alpine Academy, McLaren car with Tadpole up on there. You know, Tier 2 has already had a full season with the McLaren car upgrade. Tier 1 is not, so we'll get to see that on Saturday. As for this system with full qualifying, we'll go on board with Gecko while we talk about this, but first thoughts on full qualifying for Tier 2. It's what you're going to need if you want to graduate to Tier 1, F1 on these Saturdays, and Alpine Academy's expectations for the season. Give us your thoughts on what they're wanting as there's a spin.
Yeah, there's a little spin there. The CNRSs.
It was JNT. Alright, anyway.
So, Alpine's expectations this season or as an academy?
Both work. Both work. Yeah.
Okay, so I haven't spoken too much on it myself personally, but from my point of view of racing in last season, I feel like of the McLaren are definitely looking to take home that Drivers' Championship. We've got quite a strong pairing with Tadpole and Grandpa. Obviously, you already spoke about Grandpa proving himself last season. tadpole, a couple of podiums in that Alpine, Singapore being one of them, and also Brazil being one of them as well. So um, plenty of opportunities to potentially put that car onto the podium. Hopefully, for my sanity, or just for hoping put it on the top step at some point. But you've got McLaren, who are definitely going to be fighting drivers' championship this season. Maybe even the constructors again. But with a very, very good pairing of Alex Baer and Stenner. Stenner's dropped down from tier 1 and has already sort of proven his pace even just in these qualifying sessions of how quick he races. Gecko puts himself P2. So McLaren definitely gunning for some championship, for a little bit of gold, a little bit of silverware this season. I think they got a couple wins, a couple podiums last season. So to add to that tally, the McLaren upgrade is silly quick in some aspects. And it's still a good pairing, and then you've got the Alpine as well. As I said, I think not so much the drivers' championship is on the cars as much as the McLaren, but as an academy, I think we're hoping to bring it home, and obviously we'll do what we can to help each other out.
I think the good
and
thing
bringing a little bit of something home
for you guys is as Owen goes a second faster in the first sector, we'll watch his lap and see if there is any lag. Grandpa won the season opener last season. So there's that to look forward to. He wasn't on pole, but he ended up winning it, so that's what matters. Tadpole's got 7 consecutive points finishes, 2 podiums within that time. He got a podium last week. He joined UNJ, or I almost said JNT. That's going to confuse me a lot. JTK on the podium. You've got Tadpole with an ongoing consecutive starts streak.
Ooh.
Wow.
Oh, wait, what? Wow, that's lag at its finest.
To be fair, you know what? He didn't start lagging until the second half of the lap. He did fine for the first half, but second half got pretty bad. He's going to put it
really quick then.
Fastest too. Yeah, you're right about that. A couple other things with your academy as well, Alpine Academy. You guys had a podium in one of the last 3 season openers. That was now 3 seasons ago. Owen goes fastest for Mercedes. And I swear there was one other thing I had too. I think it was about McLaren. Yes. It was Vegas, round 9. In fact, that was the race you returned to RPL the last time they got no points in a race. So, you know what? I think that's nice to have, at least for a stat like that. And full qualifying format. 5 minutes left in the session. What are you thinking currently? And chat, give us your thoughts too, because this is the first thing I think for Tier 2. Can you clarify on that?
I think it is. I think even in F1.5 we ran a short qualifying format.
Okay.
Because in the original F1.5, we took out the Mercedes and we took out the Ferrari when they were so dominant and so quick, to give everyone more of a chance of getting a little bit more involved. I feel like the Red Bull definitely was it wasn't a midfield car at that point, but it certainly wasn't up there with being one of the quickest cars in the game. Maxwell drove the wheels off that thing quite a lot of the time in Tier 1. So yeah, I think it's always in short qualifying. It opens it up a lot more for a lot more opportunity, and getting it to full qualifying. There's a lot more on the line with a full qualifying as well. But you get your laps in. There's not kind of just like a one session where you're just thinking, oh, I've got 3 more opportunities to do this, or I've got 2 more opportunities to do this, or on a track like this where you can comfortably go out on the same set of stuff. The deg here is pretty low. So you could have done 2 laps on these tyres quite comfortably. A set of softs anyway in the draw. So there's more at risk. There's more on the line now. You've got to find that consistency, and start pulling it out of the bag. As
yeah,
to say.
Absolutely. It's now almost crunch time, Hunted, and if you're not on track right now, you better get out soon. You better figure out what tires you want. We've got Kipu still on the intermediates. Wavy, who's just started a lap, he's on the intermediates still as well. They're the only 2 on the intermediates. Everyone else is on wets. There's a lot of people we've not talked about yet because our lack of coverage and getting to them. That was due to Q1 with what had happened there. You know, Jack Miles was late into the Tier 1 session at Brazil, and Valk was late into this session in Tier 2 Brazil, and that costed her. Jack Miles was AFK during the time and came back to only going out on track when it was fully wet. So a lot can happen, and that's why Valk is out. As for our drivers on track right now, there's a lot of people we've not talked about. Alex Baer is currently second for Ferrari. It is his first time as Owen is leaving the session. He's going to come back in just a little bit, but we'll get a lap in for the rest of the session. With that being said now, as for our drivers, I'm going to switch from another driver because Wavy's invalidated. We'll switch to JNT because his last season opener is back in Season 5. Alex Baer's in his first season opener here in RPL Tier 2. Lennon is in his first season opener. We've got Molly reserving for Alpine. We've got Tadpole switching from Alpine to McLaren. Stenner now in Tier 2. He's only 9th right now, which is crazy to say. GTK, a lot of second place finishes last season, but no wins. He's currently 10th, trying to get through to Q3. And Kipu, currently in the bottom half. And the problem is he's on Inters. So, and he's in a Red Bull too, with that being said. You got JNT going better in the first sector on the wet tires. And Wavy, by the way, returning for a full season. Got a Williams in Q2. A lot of headlines to be mentioned. And Jexter not able to compete the rest of the session. I'll switch it over to you in just a moment here with JNT on a lap. We've got turn 10, I believe, coming up. This is a tricky corner. I mean, you got a car in front of him, which is a Ferrari. You know, not going to get some slipstream in this kind of condition, but we're going to see what he can do in the second sector split. It is 2 seconds up. Alfa Romeo could get both cars into Q3.
We did that in Tier 1. We had a cheat, though.
With you and Stenner.
I wasn't. Was Stenner, was it? I think it was Annex, mate.
Yeah, you're right. I confused
Now
them
who
both.
not mentioned, and there goes Stenner proving his pace. James, he had a really good lap in that Alfa Romeo. I don't know if you noticed it as well. That rain is slowing down.
Yes. And this is absolutely going to hinder Owen and Alex Baer. Only a minute left. JNT backs out of it. That might be tricky as Wavy Knife on the intermediates. Fastest in the final sector goes third fastest. We've got a lot of drivers still on laps. And, you know, I must say it's funny because it's raining outside my window as well. So it's not just in the game. It's also outside as well. So I guess real life does transfer to the game. With that being said, JTK is up on the time right now for Red Bull. He could be a big threatening to the top 4, top 5 positions because JNT either is packing it up and not going for another one or is backing off for that last lap. JTK, second here last season a week ago. This time, second fastest. Next across the line was the McLaren of Tadpole, who's going to go fastest, and that knocks JNT further down. Same with Alex Baer. Same with Owen. And now here goes Lennon Luke across the line. Look at that. Kipu can only improve by 4/10. Yeah.
Deserves a better seat. Deserves it. He's quick, man, but it's hard to grab those
Stenner.
seats. I think George already had his moment up. Whoa!
That special Ferrari livery is really paying off. Next across the line is JNT. He did start a lap just in time. 2 seconds across the line. Checkered flag for Gecko. Checkered flag for Grandpa, who is out of the session. Molly goes second fastest. Next across the line is a Mercedes Wavy Knife. He goes fastest, and he's on the intermediate tire. He chose the right tire at the right time. So Zatsy, Kipu, and Invade could really pull off this upset here. Zatsy's 5 seconds up, and he's 7 seconds down off the top of the board.
This is getting really close now. There's a few drivers still left across the line. It's going to be interesting to see who gets knocked out here. There's a couple of people.
Zatsy's in Q3.
Gone out too early.
He's second fastest.
Q2.
On the intermediate tires for Williams. The Williams heritage coming in strong. Tadpole is trying to stay in as well, but he's invalidated. That's going to be the problem for him. Kipu is coming across the line as well. You got Gecko, who's now, because of Zatsy. JNT might be next, but he's improving, which could knock Alex Baer out. JNT's out. Kipu's fastest. Next is Invade, who's fastest. Alex Baer's out. Next is JNT, who's only a second up and could not go out. There's going to be some big surprises in this session out. You have an Alpine with Jackster. You have a McLaren with Grandpa. You have Ferrari's Alex Baer. And now JNT's invalidated. So Owen and the Mercedes will be in.
Oh, he would have put himself P9.
Wow.
Oh my word. There's some big upsets.
Wow. You have...
Yeah, it's wet qualifying, man. It's one of those.
8 different teams in the top 8. And 9 different ones. Or sorry, 8 different ones going into Q3. And we have a Williams P4. We have an Aston Martin fastest, and we still have more to come.
I think there's going to be a very few happy people right now. That being one of them, it definitely being one of them as well.
Here we go. Here is your top 10 and who's through. Look at that. Intermediates paid off at the end. You might get a kind of session similar to whoever's last across the line could be on pole. We said it in the pre-race show how the changeable conditions happen all the time around the circuit. Look at the amount of difference from 1st to 11th. 3.5 seconds. I feel like this is Turkey 2020 with the amount of gaps we have with the margin that is on offer. In the bottom 5, you have 3 Ferrari Academy cars, both Alfa Romeos, who were very impressive at the start of the session and in Q1, both out in the bottom 5. Alex Baer follows them as well for Ferrari. Grandpa's car for McLaren is there as well, and Jackster for Alpine is also out. He did not get a lap in, and can you imagine what he could have done if he did?
He's got to be upset with that. I see, there's some very, very... Grandpa out and Alex Baer out, and we're continuing with the rain. I wonder if it's going to dry up towards the end. It looks pretty heavy to be potentially drying up.
Well, our first ever full qualifying session, it's showing why it's perfect for Tier 2. It is a format you want to try if you want to get through into F1. The only graduate to F1 from Tier 2 last season was Florian. A lot of backlash on that. You know, he's an AlphaTauri now. They're one of the teams not into Q3 qualifying. Another one would include Haas, who's not in. But that's beside the point. The point is, Florian advanced himself to F1, and through a little bit of controversy. You know, he had a bad start to the season with Ferrari. Had the 1 win. Great in qualifying pace. We know where his qualifying pace is. But once he went to Aston Martin, he proved he can do even better in a smaller car, and he can get the results more often. But the one thing we need to see from him, as it's tricky even getting out of the pit lane, you can see from Invades on board, but the one thing I want to see from him, and I think we could hopefully see in Tier 1, starting in Bahrain this weekend, is less penalty points, meaning less collisions with other drivers, and one other thing being a little more consistency. That, at that point, shows he rightfully, fully deserves the Tier 1 spot. I think he deserves it, but he's not at 100% deserving rate. There's guys like yourself, Hunted. There's guys like Grandpa, and maybe a few more who could be in Tier 1 with the competition we got laid out. We have so much competition here in Tier 2 as well. It's hard to get a Tier 2 spot for some of these guys, because some of these guys are even reserves. Look at Trat Racer. Look at FBL.
Yeah, I mean, well, Florian going to Tier 1, I think that was a plan. AlphaTauri. Is it AlphaTauri Tier 1? He's in Tier 1, isn't it? Yeah. I feel like I think it was planned quite early on from Cookie. I think Cookie was hoping that I was going to say he goes to Tier 1 as well. I remember having a conversation with him, spilling the beans a little bit of my potential Tier 1 return. But no, I feel like all Florian needs to do is improve his racecraft a little bit better racecraft, and he'll be fine. He's a very, very quick driver. Know that. He's very good at qualifying. His race pace is great. He just needs to learn a little bit. Invade.
You saw it too, yeah.
Yeah.
Softs are not the best.
To learn a little bit in racing. I mean, Austria, for example, last season, he improved from that. He just needs to find out a little bit more, I think, and then he'll be okay. I think he'll find himself a good seat.
I agree.
Eventually.
He got the 1 podium in Canada in Season 8, so clearly he's got it in him, but he better be better in the racecraft this time around. We'll get some predictions in a moment, but now, our first laps on dry tires. Since Q1, Invade gonna be fastest to set off and set the benchmark. Next across the line is Molly, who's gonna go even faster, 11.5. But the times are still quite close between the drivers. Next is Zatsy and the Williams. Can he surprise up there too? Ooh, he's only 3rd fastest. Well, there's only been 3 runners, but he's still within a second, so that's quite nicely done. Owen and Wavy next across the line. Owen gonna go provisional pole, 11.1, the 3-time Tier 2 champion. is doing it quite well. We got another 3-time Tier 2 champion in the chat. That's Jack Miles. Good to see you all here. 10 viewers. Get your predictions in before we do. Next across the line, Kipu. What can Kipu do for Red Bull? He's going to pit. Behind that is Wavy. How about 2 weeks ago, making a return? Now it's a full-time return for Wavy. Who's going to go front row to make it a Mercedes 1-2, and he's fastest in the final sector, so he set up his car nicely for the straights. We only got one more across the line to set a lap so far this first time around. I did say your name, Jack, because we got some provisional. Molly goes fastest. Oh my God, the track is really improving. We did not catch any of that lap. I am sorry, Molly.
It's ramping. It's getting quick. Now the rain's gone, the track's drying up. It's getting a little bit warmer.
Yeah.
We're gonna see time start improving. Owen, I want to laugh. I think he's probably coming to the pits. Yeah, he's peeling in.
Yeah, Jack, I did say your name, by the way, because 3-time Tier 2 champion, you and Owen are the only multiple-time Tier 2 time champions. Excuse me. Interesting stat there. We can probably note that a little bit more later. We got Lennon on the lap. We'll go on board with this. We'll cover a little bit after the Senna S. Either way, I want to get some predictions. Top 3. Pole time we can't really do because the wet transition, but I'm going to go with, oh, not pole time, top 3, yeah. Pole time we can't do. Top 3 we can do, though, as Lennon is going purple. I'm going to say the top 3 in the session ends up being, oh, wow, this is tough on me. We've got Stenner, who's going to be in the top 3, in my opinion. No flags, that's Tadpole. Just starting a lap. Stenner is going to be up there in the top 3. I think Owen will be up there too for Mercedes, and JTKP anywhere in the top 3. That's just out of order, simple as that. Those are my top 3 drivers. 3 different teams in the top 3, and Lennon's going purple. What's your top 3? With going bold with Stenner. How's that bold? He's in tier 2. I mean, yeah, he did lead the penalty standings last season, but still, Czech is improving to where Lennon goes fastest at 8. So yeah.
8.
Yeah.
Good lap. Good lap.
Prediction for top 3 there?
Prediction?
Yes.
Cookie, you're going to get really annoyed at me. Because I'm not going to put a Red Bull on PP. Sorry to annoy my old coach, PP. I do love Cookie, but I'm going to annoy him. I'm going to go Stenepole, which he's coming up to land now.
Here we go.
Is he going to prove me right? There we go. He's on a 7 now.
Look at that.
The track's there. It's quick. It's nice and quick. He's got into the 7s. He's sitting dominance very, very early on. 7, getting into 7s. Very, very, very good for around this track. So I'm going to go Stenepole.
Okay.
Followed by GK.
Okay.
Followed by Tadpole or Owen. Is my
All right. Interesting.
top 3.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm not saying a McLaren in that top 3. I'm not. I'm doubting them. I'm sorry, Alpine Academy. I had to do it to you, Hunted. Got JTK
Look,
on a lap. Oh, that got close between him and Mally through Sector 2. JTK comes through now. Just trying to find the right spots here to push and right spots not to. I mean, yeah, it's probably about the time it's about to be fully dry. However, these are the proper laps. You can't really say Q1 was their proper laps considering they knew rain was on the way. JTK is going purple through the second sector. However, how true is that? Here comes the sun out peaking, but can JTK hit his peak? He started second place a lot last season. Kippo, his teammate, goes third for this race. How about JTK, who's gonna go second fastest? P2 once again. Can't get to the top. Next across the line is Molly, who starts a lap in his Alpine. We're going to continue to watch the laps. He comes to turn 1, does not clip much of the curb, clips it for turn 2, hugs it for turn 3. Now, coming out of turn 3, just absolutely hugging that curb. It's your best friend right there, that curb, it looks like. As Zatsi goes P7 for Williams. Nicely done there. 4/10 up on the time as Molly. So he's finding a lot of time. And in fact, you got to remember, his banker lap was when the track was still quite wet. Yellow flags for the Red Bull, letting him go. Now, turn 6, turn 7. Here we go. This is a lot more trickier than you think. You can take so many different lines throughout this section, so many places to find time. Now Molly comes through, and this is the corner where TB and Luke had their collision in F1. You don't want to repeat the same thing. Now he comes to the second sector split, and I give it to you, Hunted.
Ah! I've lost myself. Where am I? Mally.
Second up.
Now on the final run. Sorry, I was drinking. He's coming up to the final. Activate the DRS. As I said, you want to try and get over this line a little bit. Try and cut it as much as you can. Hasn't sticking out of the line. Got P3. I mean, who was it? Was it Gecko put in an absolute monster lap last season?
Yeah, true.
Mally driving very well, putting it into P3. My predictions are coming true here if Tadpole decides to pull his finger out a little bit. And Owen was on a lap, but he was decided to peel into the pits. That was Wavy now starting a lap. I'm guessing we should jump on board with Wavy.
Yes, 2 minutes remaining.
Into the
Get out there now.
S's. Stick to gear 4 there. Try to get it. You want to try and get it flat there, open to P, open to gear 5. Not hugging and touching the curb, but heading now down into turn 4. The double left-hander, gear 5, rush that onto the curb. Don't get too far out there. Can lose your time. Now, nice clean exit, heading up the hill. Don't want to touch the grass here on the left. That's one thing about this track. It is very unforgiving with the grass. Now he's going to come across beautifully, goes over the curb into gear 3. Now trying to plant it as hard as you can. Now headed back up the hill. But not a lot of traction to be gained there. This corner is especially quite slippy, quite tricky. You need to find the perfect point. We've done that very, very well. Now hooking to the inside curb. They're brushing that wide. Don't want to hit the grass here once again. He's 2 and a bit seconds up now. Pretty clean exit. Heading up the hill. Under the bridge. Oh, he's hit his floor on that inside curb. Now, it's not what you. It's one thing you definitely don't want to do. That could lose you up to a 10th, if not a bit more. Wavy knife in the Mercedes goes P6 for 1:8.7.
Molly on a lap, but he's just invalidated it. He was 2/10 up in the first sector. We're going to go to someone who's about to start a lap now. If you're not out on track right now, you're not going to get a lap in. Looks like everybody is out on track and going to go for another one or go for their first and last one. Here's Lennon
starting his lap.
Across the line for Haas. P4 in his only start for Haas so far. Now a full season with them. Yeah, very much so. You got to find all the time you can. He is a little planted to the left, but 44,000 up. Going to do everything he can to set this Haas up in the first couple rows, let alone first couple spots. He's got to find time through the second sector to improve some places, though, because only 44,000 is not going to improve you a place. Here we go, turn 6-7. A little tricky
very
area.
Wide there, hasn't held up the inside. Lost some time in that long uphill right-hander there. He's built a car that's very, very quick and straight. You know, he's hitting gear 6 there. Most drivers opt for 5th gear to that corner.
Let's see what he's at the sector split. What is it going to be? Still 47,000, so he's only improved 3,000 in the sector. He's got to find time on this last little straight. Checkered flag is out. Molly's only going to be a best of P3. Here we go. Lennon, the first one to come across the line. Would have won here. He won the sprint, but what's he going to get on the order? Only one place higher. Next across the line is a Mercedes. It's Owen, who's 10th fastest. He's going to go front row. Owen, wow. At the last moment, does a really good lap. Next is Invade. Can he improve on the times? He can improve, but he can't improve any places. Next is Tadpole, who is invalidated. So we switch to Kipu, who is 2/10 up in the time. A start with Red Bull. Switch to the Red Bull Academy from Mercedes. He's going to go 4th fastest. Nicely done there. Next across the line is Zatsi. Can't improve. So now it's all down to Wavy and JTK to see if they can knock Stenner off the top. JTK comes across the line. He's only going to be P3. Now it's Wavy coming across the sector split. He's down on the time, so Wavy can't improve, but can Stenner improve the pole lap? Stenner comes across the line. It's going to be pole extended. 5/10 ahead of the rest of the drivers. Wow.
That's a very good lap for that Ferrari. Doing a bit
My God.
here.
Stenner drops down to tier 2 to put it on pole. My God.
I think someone's going to do something watching it here. Stenner seems very, very quick.
Seems like last season, when it came to being very quick, he ended up bottling it. Hopefully, it does not end up being the same way here. He was in contention quite a bit for Ferrari when he raced with them out of the 4 times. Won a race last season. It was his first win in Tier 1. Here's our starting order. I think I got a top 3 right here. I said JTK, I said Owen, I said Stenner. That's your top 3. Outside of that top 3, Kipu. 4th place for him. Nicely done. Good start from him. Right near the teammate. That's where he should be. Then you got Molly, Tadpole, Lennon, Wavy, Invade, Zatsy. Running out your top 10 on the grid. The strategy for the race is going to be soft, hard, medium, hard, or revert strategy. Hards can go a good 2/3 of the race. You lose 20 seconds in the pit stops, and you gain 23% back from your battery.
A little bit overcast. A bit overcast here. Phoenix said, don't know about Ryan's surprised. Still a Tier 1 winner. I don't know why he's in Tier 2.
Good for a point there. Yeah, I mean, we'll find out if he's in Tier 2 because he can't put races together, or if he's in Tier 2 because of his great pace. Ferrari have got themselves a gem, but let's find out if the rest of the field can put the challenge to it. Chat, give us your predictions for the race. We already mentioned the strategy. Brand new standings up in front of us. And by the way, we can go over a lot more things now because we've got a formation lap on board. Yes, little last minute decision, but we're trying it for Tier 2 this time to see how this will work for Tier 1, see if there's any bugs still or if everything's been fixed. The last time we tried anything along the lines of formation lap / red flags, Spain, and that was 2 seasons ago almost in Tier 2, and it ended up being very glitchy, and it actually resulted in an Alfa Romeo of Sam Steed DNFing from the race because of the glitch. So as we got formation lap on here, I think he turned it on, Owen did. He said he was going to. Luckily, we have a lot more time to cover things.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a bit of a one-way race, depending on what's going to happen. As we said, we kept it a surprise. I don't know if Ryan's kept it a surprise. I don't know if he knows what the weather's going to be for this race. Ryan, can you clarify?
As far as I know, should be dry. Invade will probably tell me.
I think
someone else will probably
just
tell
by looking at the tires, we can see that it's going to be dry.
I'll put in the tires. Since we're doing formation lap, if this goes smooth, we'll figure out what we want to talk about for Tier 1 tomorrow when we do the formation lap, when I do it with Owen. However, yeah, we got 10 viewers. It's dry. All right, so Invade gave us the answer for that one. 10 viewers, 10 people who can give us predictions, 18 drivers in the lobby, and we've got multiple different strategies. You can either go, as I said, hard, medium, hard, soft, soft, hard, medium, hard, which that's 2 different strategies. One's the revert. You could see a 2-stop if there are safety cars here. We saw a safety car in the Tier 2 race last season. We'll talk about that in a moment. Brand new standings, brand new season, 13 races, a calendar full of surprises, full of eventful races ahead of us. If you have not seen that calendar reveal, let alone driver reveal, check us out on the YouTube, RPL_XB1. So we've got the 2nd through 4th runners on mediums, Lennon on mediums, J&T, Grandpa, and Mythic on mediums, Alex, Bear, Leon, and that's it, on softs, and everyone else is on hards. So most of the field make up hards, the second half make up mostly of that, mediums, and then 2 on softs. Likely a 1-stop for everybody, very rarely you'll get a 2-stop.
Here's an interesting thing. Stenner, our P1, our pole sitter, is starting on hard tyres.
And he rushed to the grid.
Now he has rushed to the grid. I don't know how warm they're going to be, but you've got the dangerous Owen, a former Tier 2 champion, behind him on mediums, followed by JTK and Mally, you stupid fool, and Lennon, you fool. JTK very, very quick. We saw that last week in the race. He was up there. He's on the mediums as well, along with Kipu. So he's got to protect himself from a Mercedes and 2 Red Bulls behind him as we're getting ready to go lights out.
Here we go. Here come the 5 red lights for a brand new season of RPL. It's lights out and away we go. Season 11 is underway and Stenner gets an amazing start. Off the line quite well. Owen's going to be challenging GTK for second place. Side by side they go. Can they avoid the usual trouble through turn 1 through 3? The Sen Asses. It looks to be clean so far. Second place is now GTK's. Here they go now on the run to Raposta. On the run toward turn 4, you got the Mercedes of Wavy ducking out. Alex Baird is there to gain spots. Owen and GTK side by side for P2 as they continue to race for P8. Now, Wavy getting ahead of Lennon. Easy move right there. Place contested, and most of the field now going single file.
Well, Alex Bear has left us. He started on soft. He got a really, really good start. He pretty got himself P7. There's a change going on up and down the field. Yeah, actually going very, very single file. We're probably going to see a couple moves here. Looking at the McLaren. Yeah, there's an Alpine going up the inside of the Ferrari and the Martin there. Stenner out leading the way at the moment, 6 tenths ahead.
Oh.
Very, very good start on the cars. Owen going to look at closing that gap now, surely.
Gecko and Zetzi
side.
are very much pinching one another to the curb. Former Ferrari drivers right there, only one of them currently in the Ferrari Academy. You can now see the places gained. As for the lead, Owen is putting the pressure once again on Stenner. Fastest lap going to him. Bonkers joining the session. That's a little late. However, places gained, Alex Bair losing tons of places. JNT is now spun around at turn number 1, and he is almost stuck. However, positions gained, we have Grandpa up 7, Tadpole up 1, up 5 for Jackster. Interval is kind of glitched. 4 for Leon, and the big loser on that start, Invade and Alex Bair as well as JNT.
Alex Bear's not on the session, so it's inevitable he's going to start losing places as Owen's now looking to start putting the pressure on Stenner. Probably bound to get him, and then Alex Jones rejoins the session. Owen going to look at hopefully potentially overtaking him here. He needs to get ahead of him on these mediums. He needs to get out of this dirty air as quickly as he can and start trying to pull a gap ahead of him. Now, I don't know if he's waiting for DRS, but I don't know how quick his car is in a straight line compared to that Ferrari. This Mercedes engine notoriously known for not having the best straight line speed as we're heading on down now into turn 1 with Owen on board. Is he going to stick behind him? He's looking up the inside. He's going to stick behind him, heading into the center S's. All about how close he can stick. He hasn't got as good as an exit there as Stenner is surely going to start applying the overtake. He's got his DRS now as well.
Here we go.
Head down. He's not close enough. Again, he really needs to look at getting himself ahead here. If Stenner stays ahead on these hards, it's game over already. GTK
That is
again needs to close this gap.
very true. And Valk losing a spot now to Alex Bair, who's joined back the session, if we didn't get to mention that already. Yeah, I mean, they have the tire advantage over Stenner, so realistically, if they could just stay in DRS, they might be okay, but one of them's got to make the move, and both Red Bulls are going fast there. You saw Kipu set the fastest lap. Owen has a little confidence here, probably knowing that Mercedes ended up doing very, very well in this race. Not last season, excuse me, 2 seasons ago now. The season finale. This track's been the season finale for the last 2 seasons prior. This season's going to be Vegas. They ended up winning this race with Beatnik for Mercedes. Their only win on this game cycle, so he's got a little bit of help there. Does the lag go away for Owen? So far looks fine. Making a move for the race lead. Down the inside, gets through on Stenner, so takes the race lead. Now both Red Bulls are going to put the pressure on Stenner, who will have the DRS on Owen down toward turn 4. However, both Red Bulls, while they try to catch, they're continuing to battle. And now, which Red Bull is going to get out ahead? It looks to be JTK.
Grandpa's already blinking. He's only on 11% DRS. He's in a lot of DRS. He's made a lot of positions.
Gets him. Kipu is ahead. So Kipu looks to be the faster one right now. JTK looking to play smart at it. You now with the battling from the Red Bulls and Stenner being overtaken from the race lead, you just invited the rest of the drivers behind all the way to 8th up to this train.
He needs to close that gap to Kipu. I don't know what's going on here with JTK. He's a second behind. He's out of DRS.
You can't protect for Kipu because you got to help your own race here too. There's a reason why he got second place, but at least in this race, and not for a meaning way, but more so for a reasonable way because he fought hard enough for that second place. Excuse me. Molly. Oh, pinching Grandpa. These are Academy teammates right here, and this could get very, very treacherous on the run to turn 1 as Owen sets the fastest lap in the lead of the races. Here comes Grandpa down the inside, sending it, and now pushing Molly out. Molly's gonna have to back out of that one, and he does just that. Now Tadpole is continuing to heat up JTK for 4th place in this race. Can Tadpole find a way to challenge up front for the top 3? He's gonna get past first, around the outside, side by side. They almost come together there, and in fact, I think the reason why that JTK is slow right now, as you mentioned, is he's got damage on the side pod there. His part of his wing's missing, and Tadpole wants to make the move. Tadpole's looking. Tadpole down the inside. Tadpole is trying to go through, and he's through for now. But do they collide? JTK backed out of it. He was smart right there in that position.
To get an change of that wing, I don't think he can stay out. This is what his race pace is going to be like. I think he's just going to sacrifice it, jump onto those hards, and pray for a safety car.
How bad is
Really,
that
you
damage?
can't
Is it
believe in
lime
this much
green,
time.
yellow, orange, red?
That's a dark green, right? Not dark green. He's lost an end plate. You can see it's just affecting him, not just in a straight line. But there you go. He needs to peel in here. There you go.
That's a
Clear
collision.
stock.
That's going to bring out the safety car. JTK's coming in at the perfect time. That is Valk and Leon who've collided in the last sector out of this race. Valk in her home race. Not a good return. Leon, a second DNF in this F1 23 game cycle. A second DNF in a row and a second DNF for the circuit. Not good for him.
As the sun and they come out in Brazil. It's been a bit of a hectic start, really.
I agree. And, you know, Leon had 8 points to his name last season. Not going to start the season off with some points, but it took him a little bit to get some points last season, so that's okay. And Valk finished P5 in the season opener last time in Bahrain, last season, in Season X, and this time it's not going to be the same way. 4th in the Season 9 Brazil finale. It's just... Surely you got to wonder for these two drivers, part of the same academy who collided. Surely it's only up from here.
I don't really know what to make of what's going on. I feel like
I don't know.
they need to break this gap from Stenner. These...
Do any of them pit now? You can maybe
No.
go hard the rest of the way if you get lucky with some safety cars, but I don't think any of them do. I mean...
I feel like you can take cards anyway, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think you can take cards
Oh.
in the safety car in this... What? It's gone green?
I think it has. That's a bit of an odd one. All right, well, back underway. I think
We'll resume racing.
that was a very quick safety car.
But it wasn't
Safety
even in
cars
front of
just
them.
pulled into the pits.
That's the formation lap for you.
That is maybe why they won't do it in Tier 1. Now, all right.
But the safety car light's still flashing.
Yeah, that is odd. I'm gonna check if anything is said there. I think we're okay because you know what? Safety cars in the pit lane were fine, but it's shown is still out though, but there's no yellow flags. I think we're fine as long as... Oh, nope. Now there's a safety car. Jackster's out. Something's happened to him. There's a collision. What in the world?
I don't know what's going on.
That's at turn 11. Must have been it there. Now there's no safety car. I don't think we're trying formation lap tomorrow for tier 2, for tier 1 I meant. Yeah. Florian says this needs a restart. I don't know. I think it's really up to Luke. I mean, they're the experts. They know. But as long as there's no yellow flags for them to not be able to overtake, then I think they're okay. You know, that's just what I think personally. However, JTK is going fast on those hards, or mediums, excuse me. You said how he needs something to happen. He needs a miracle. There you go.
The miracle was that safety car, but
Yeah.
it stiffed him.
It's more like a split between a VSC and a safety car. It's like the safety car was out, then it went right back into the pits. It's kind of
We
like
didn't
Abu Dhabi
get behind the
2021,
safety
but I
car.
don't think we should mention that on the stream.
We didn't even get behind it. Like,
Well, I think they did for a little bit, but they didn't really do anything more than a lap under it, though, which is very odd.
it's really, it's almost just like it was a VSC, and we got told it was a safety car. Really.
Right. Well, Jack Star out of this race. Alpine Academy. They're the second academy to be out of this race. Third different team. And last time he was outside the points, well, this race 2 seasons ago. And Owen said it's not a restart, so we should be okay. However, we continue racing. So, he's in the lead, though, so that's maybe why. But I don't think that's why, though. I mean, just saying. I don't think.
I don't know. This just seems.
As long as it's not
Ooh,
caused
Kipu.
anyone a DNF, I think we're fine. I mean, yeah, does that kind of mess up JTK a little bit? But in all fairness, though, he did kind of catch back up to where he's only 10 seconds off of the next battle. So it's like, as much as he did get screwed a little bit, he's not screwed entirely. I don't know. I'm interested to see if there is another safety car, what it does. But the thing is, the safety car got shown out twice. You can't really consider there was 2 safety cars there.
I think it was meant to be put down as a VSC, and
Maybe. You got a fair point there.
It seemed.
But see, it
It seemed
caught
like
some
it was just a
people
VSC.
up, though, too, a little bit farther. I don't know. I'm interested to see what's going to happen then. I mean, some
Yeah,
people
I
say,
reckon
like
the name
Florian, that, oh, it's because he's winning the race, and Jack Surf said he shouldn't. Tier coordinator shouldn't be someone who's racing. But at the end of the day, though, in the party with him, you got Luke and Jack, who are there to make decisions with him. So it's not like you have one person only, which is the good part, I will say. No doubt about it.
No, yeah, definitely.
So it's not like it's just him. JTK fastest lap, so he's going quite fast in that Red Bull on the medium tires, on the better tires, and he's got Wavy right there too, pitted with him. So in fact, you said it was like a VSC. I'd say, personally, it was a little bit of both combined because, in fact, if you look at the gap to pit, 23 seconds, they're 20, 21, 23, and JTK fell back, I want to say 5-6 seconds off the lead when that safety car came out. So yeah, it was a little bit like a VSC, but it stayed out like a safety car though. You know, I don't know.
It's an odd one to call. I think it hasn't helped one.
No, it hasn't
But
helped, but it hasn't hurt him too much either though.
No, I feel like it's one of these things we can just look over. I feel like it's something that's definitely be spoken about maybe after, especially between some drivers and out of the race. But I feel like it's one of those things. I honestly think it was meant to be a C.
If it was meant to be a VSC and it put out a safety car, that's very odd. Because what it did then to JTK pitting is it dropped it as if it was a safety car in terms of his speed, you know? Mythic gets
Yeah.
Zatsy, P9, side by side here through the center S. Mythic getting out ahead over Zatsy, but that's the last point spot for these guys. If they continue to battle, they're just going to catch up Wavy and JTK, run fresher tires. Invade gets JNT. Now Mythic gets overtaken by Zatsy on the run to turn 4. No re-overtaking going to be done again there, past turn 4, but for the lead, we got a 3-car breakaway.
Owen's got a full battery to his name as well.
Owen almost does too.
I
Or
feel
sorry,
like he
Center
needs
almost
to
does
start
too.
using that just to maybe break away a little bit.
Maybe.
He's had a bit of a wobble there. Then it's
Got
gained a little bit on
Zatsy
him.
and Mythic touching wheels. That could have been close. Still remaining wheel to wheel here. Zatsy with the inside line. Mythic giving tons of space. These two bottom edge cars, it's interesting because it must be said, they were battling at one point for last in the constructors in Tier 1,
Mythic.
as now Mythic gets a penalty. Grandpa and Tadpole trade spots, so McLaren maybe going to help themselves DRS along to get up to the top 3 as Lennon is part of that train too. So now, on the run to turn 4, Stenner, 4 tenths back, 3 tenths back, gaining, but can't overtake.
Who really loses out in this middle sector. If you watch heading up the hill now in this right-hander, he struggles. This lap, he's proved me wrong. I retract what I say. Don't listen.
Well, let's see what happens, because we got now Mythic with a penalty, only driver in this race to have one, battling Zatsy, last point spot. Wavy is almost in DRS of these guys with JTK following suit side by side at turn 6.
Oh
This
God.
could get incredible. Oh my goodness. You don't usually see a move there, but Mythic wants to put it back up the inside. They touch, and now you saw Zatsy go into a slide from that. Mythic gonna hold it around the outside. Does Zatsy force him off? He almost does. Zatsy lets him back through though, and now Wavy's on the train on the back of these guys as well.
Oh, let them off first. There we go. Oh dear.
Whoa, Mythic off the road, and now Alex Bear will take advantage too. Whoa! My goodness! Wow. That got close. That got treacherous. Wavy and Zatsy continue to battle as we have Stenner gaining the gap. Only can get within 2/10 there into turn 4, but not enough to make a move. Now you got Zatsy and Wavy being both overtaken here on the front straight. It's Wavy and JTK leading the pack of cars, but how much longer? DRS down to turn 4 on the Red Pasta. Zatsy with tons of momentum. Wavy blocks it to the inside. Zatsy makes the move on Wavy, but does not make the move on JTK. He locks up, though, and goes a bit deep. Wavy gets the place.
This is getting a bit dangerous here. I don't know. I'd like to be part of this battle, to be honest with you. That's in the Williams. I think she's got to let that Mercedes go, let Wavy go. He's got to try and follow JTK. JTK and Wavy here really got to work together. And trying to claw that gap back to Gecko. I mean,
Owen?
They've got themselves back into the points. Owen
Use the battery. That is important because this could indicate he's pitting.
He's made that Mercedes very, very, very quick, a straight line.
I must say, they did do themselves a favor by showing 2 seasons ago that they have the car underneath them to contend for this race win at this certain track. In fact, I think Luke at one point in Tier 1, you could argue, was a race-winning contender. He really wasn't one until the final safety car came out, but Beatnik won here not too long ago. So he's really making a case for himself, Owen, as Alex Bear gets through on Zatsy for P11. Yeah, I think with the top 3, you know, this is very similar, though, to Season 9, because in this race, in that season, you had a Ferrari up there, you had a Red Bull up there, you had a Mercedes up there. You had 2 Mercedes at the time, in fact. But right now, Owen is doing everything he can to hold on, and I mean, Stenner's not touched that battery. Stenner knows not to touch that battery just yet. But Owen dumping it on this straight right here shows me he's wanting to come in soon. And he's not hitting the pit lane just yet, but considering he's on mediums, he should be pitting anywhere from now to about lap 19, lap 20. So he might try to undercut Stenner because he's on the tire disadvantage.
Here's the thing, Stenner's not touching that battery, and he's on the hard tires. I think you've already kind of got yourself a winner in this race, depending on what really happens. We've just kind of got to wait and see. Does Owen go maybe to the softs and try and push them to the end? Does he just opt to go onto the hards? What's going to happen? Does Stenner go on the softs? Does he wear them out? And does Owen take advantage of that by going on the hards? There's a lot of variables that can play in count here.
He's got a lot of variety, but I think he's realized his fate at this point, because he can't try to overtake the race lead from Owen and battle it out egregiously, because he's got Grandpa there who's holding a consistent gap for P4 with Tadpole, the teammate, following suit. I mean, these McLaren boys look like they're working out perfect because they got the strength in numbers. Stenner's losing lap time on the hards. Owen looks to be okay, but is using a bit of that battery, so we'll find out what happens here. Who blinks first between these 3?
I don't think anyone's going to blink. I mean,
not
even
now,
Kipu,
but they will soon.
No. Even Kipu, he's right there. There we go. Stenner's right up. Owen's the fuser now.
I mean, does he overtake before he ends up pitting? He's using that battery now. Does this indicate something? Here he goes in the slipstream, outside line, a little bit of bang in there between front and back, but now side by side at turn 4, he can't get the race lead back. There you go, Stenner and Owen duking it out at turn 4, but not enough to switch spots.
He's gonna go. He's losing it.
Wow. Turn 6 is such a tricky spot for these drivers. You can just see it from the rear end right there, what that does to a driver. You have to be very careful where and when you push it there.
it's those mediums are starting to wear out now. You've got Stenner bringing those hards into life. I think he's now going to look at overtaking Owen. All on very, very similar pretty much all on this exact same battery. Owen's going to feel like a bit of a sitting duck now. I think he knows that Stenner's going to be dropping that out. He's not going to overtake him here. He knows that he's got a second DRS straight coming up, and even if he did overtake him, Owen's going to have the DRS there. He's got to know to get a really good exit. Going down the inside here can really and overtaking as a turn one can really compromise you going onto this next straight. Your main overtaking part of this track is right here, heading down into the double left-hander to the retro poster. He's not doing it this lap. You think he maybe learned. Kipu's not pushing as well. But he's sitting still right on the back of Owen.
They both pit on this lap. So this is the first of those drivers invade with a 3-second time penalty.
Alex Bear back into P9, but
see,
the Grandpa's come up right behind him.
I think this is the smart thing, though, from someone like Grandpa, because he was leading that train with Tadpole. He was 2.2 behind even after the battling, and he realized this is when I'm dropping off now, so I need to do it now and try to get an undercut. And he's in perfect prime position to do just that. The only thing I'm interested to see, though, is JTK and Wavy have already pitted once in this race. Depends on how long they go. Oh, Wiggles, you saw right there. Now when do these guys come in? Tadpole with a penalty. Very crucial for McLaren. They were running P4 and P5 both.
And Kippy pits. Kippy's the first to pit.
Stenner gaining the gap. Can't get enough to turn 1. He's going to try this time to turn 4.
He's got a good exit there. He's got loads of the battery left. Owen, a lot less than Stenner out. Here comes Stenner. He's going to drop it. Is Owen going to force him to the outside?
Outside line. He does go. Side by side again at turn 4. They do connect. Whoa! Owen coming out ahead for now. Stenner on the outside line. They continue to bang wheels, but it is Stenner ahead. Owen switchback time. They come together. Luckily, no damage, but there was contact.
And here comes, is Stenner going to look at it maybe on the inside into this right-hander? I don't think he is. I think he knows.
While that happened, Grandpa, sorry to cut in, Hunted, but Grandpa, within a second of Kipu, just pitted right there. So this is an outlap that's crucial for Kipu now on those medium tires.
Hey, thing as well with that fighting with Owen and Stenner, Owen really compromised himself. Now, is Stenner got damaged? Stenner's dropped back.
I don't know. He slid there at the final braking zone, it looked like. But he's just using all the batteries. So is Owen.
Staying out. I don't know. Is this a good call? Is it not? You got.
It looks to be for Stenner. As for Owen, we'll find out in a little bit. How much more does he have left in the tank to push? You got 6/10 the gap with the race leaders. So.
And there goes Kipu on Wavy. No, he's got JTK right ahead of him. JT's not going to go the inside of JTK here, surely. He's going to sit behind him. He's nearly gone right into the back of his teammate. He's going to get the DRS here to try and hopefully try and escape Grandpa. Grandpa's going to. Wavy knife is. Is he going to hold up Grandpa? He's still going to battle this.
Here we go. Kipu ahead of JTK and Grandpa trying to get ahead of JTK. They come together. Oh, wow. That could have been very much worse, but it came out worse for JTK in that battle. Grandpa up to P6, Wavy up a place as well. And Alex Bear invited into DRS, but he's lost it though because he's went wide.
Oh, Stenner spun. Stenner spun.
Oh my goodness. P2 in this race of Stenner is around. Oh my God. Stenner still has to pit too.
As I was speaking about before, the grass on the inside, on the outside, it's so dangerous. He's clipped the grass and he's spun the car. As soon as you put your tire on the grass and you start braking, the car will just spin. It shows it coming into the.
We're gonna figure out where he comes out because that will be the important thing, I think. I mean, he's definitely behind Kipu and Grandpa, but how far back is he? I mean, he just bottled it. He simply bottled it. That's the best way to put it. But the fact of the matter is, he's got the competition battling in front of him as he comes out of the pits with Zatsy pitting too. Here's JTK trying to protect on Tadpole, but also trying to get the place in Wavy. Inside line, side by side, they touch.
Oh,
around he goes. Around Tadpole also goes. And through goes Stenner.
I don't know who's at fault there.
Wavy's around 2.
Oh dear, it's all going wrong.
Wavy's left the
I'm
session.
waving like
That's
it's left the
why.
session.
I figured there was something wrong. So,
Owen, very, very comfortable lead now. He's done 20 laps on those mediums.
yeah. It must be said, 3 of the net race leaders, we'll call them, because they were battling. It wasn't just like there were one of them. 3 of them just collided or had a spin. Tadpole, JTK, and Wavy. All in a
Who
span of 10 seconds.
is your net race leader?
So your net race leader is now Kipu.
Oh no, he's not. Kipu's gone medium, medium.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I was going to point that out. I thought he was on
Kipu.
hards for a moment at the start. I see the point now. So he's messed the strategy up big time.
Dear.
Why has he done that?
Is that a tactical call? Is he going to hit the softs at the end? He's not breaking Grandpa. He had himself lined up for a victory here, and he's...
I mean,
Oh, Kipu.
why has he gone mediums? Why?
You have as much
Surely-
frustration as me right now, just seeing that.
He's either messed up really bad, or there's something we don't know.
And Stenner's right back on the back of his teammate now.
Yeah.
Alex Bear, I'm sure he's not going to fight him here, he knows.
No. Why would
Stenner's
they?
going to be driving with anger now. This is the thing. Stenner's going to be driving with anger.
You got Grandpa who's about
Trying to
to
close that gap back up.
get the net race lead over Kipu. I mean, I'm still going to call it the net race lead with Kipu because he is the first car out of the ones who've pitted. Speaking of people pitting, here's Molly into the pits and ducking out of any battles. Here's...
Owen has stayed out.
Yeah, he's extending. Maybe he is going soft. So you might got a point there. Stenner is going to get ahead of the teammate. Little teammate swap there. Stenner now fastest lap for Ferrari.
Now he's
Claims
standing in front of him. He's
spot.
got an academy teammate ahead of him. I don't think Lennon's going to put up much of a fight. One person we really haven't spoken about as well is Lennon.
How does
and
Gecko
well he
play into this? Hold
performed
on.
in that race.
How does he play into this? Not pitting yet. Holding up Kipu. Blocking the line. You got Ferrari of Stenner and Alex Bear who've pitted already. And they're quite a ways back. The gap was, I don't know, 14.2 it looked like. Now it's 14.5. So you could see Gecko has lost quite a bit of pace. But he is now involving these guys to lose a bit of couple seconds as well with him. There you
One
go.
thing I am, the whole Kipu's messed up big time.
But what he's done, though, Gecko, by ducking out, is he's made sure Kipu doesn't get the DRS. Now he's vulnerable to Grandpa. Here comes Grandpa, rear wing open, getting through with ease, and breezes past.
Gecko got a 5-second speed in the pit lane. Kipu needs a good exit here to be able to put himself back ahead in the retro poster. Grandpa's got a really, really good exit, but he doesn't have the DRS. And he's not draining the battery either, Kipu. I think he's just opting to stick behind, which he can't do on a strategy like he has done.
Yeah.
He's
I
ruined
will
his
say,
race.
Gecko did all he could for Stenner without affecting his race too badly. You know, now Gecko is P10, you could see.
Oh. And Gecko has gone for softs. I think
Yeah.
Owen potentially coming in this lap, maybe.
This is Owen's chance to go for softs. He is
Look at
not to the pit lane yet, but he's only a second off his best lap, so we'll find out. You still have Kipu on the back of Grandpa. Stenner's 3.3 behind these guys. He was 6 seconds at one point, maybe more. He is really
And Owen
pushing.
pits.
Fastest lap after fastest lap. You saw he did the fastest lap not too long ago. And Owen is in.
Grandpa now your race leader.
But what tires? Softs.
Actually, here comes Kipu.
Invade 3-second again.
He's gonna go for it.
Side by side.
Kipu's gone for it.
Yes, he has. Inside line. Gets through. Is ahead.
And look
Oh,
at that.
he
See how
spiked
Grandpa
though.
takes that wide line. He's lined him up perfectly.
I'm curious. After Stenner's spin, Owen stayed out quite a bit longer. Stenner ahead of Owen. Lennon also ahead of Owen.
Like Grandpa didn't have DRS.
He didn't, which makes it very interesting. Oh, Wavy needs an invite back. Can you invite Wavy?
I can do my best.
Okay, cool. Zatsy gets Mythic. That's outside the points, but keep in mind, you have Kipu still got a pit again. You have...
Oh, he's back.
There you go. You have penalties up in front of that with Gecko. You have Tadpole the penalty, so a lot to play for. So Zatsy and Mythic could realistically be battling for the last point spot once this race continues to play out. Everybody has pitted, but there's still be more drivers making a pit stop later on. JTK on mediums, 18 laps. Those mediums are not going to make it the rest of the way, so he's going to need to pit for softs at the end, similar to how Owen and Gecko are on, but he'll come out behind Zatsy surely. Now for the race
and here
lead.
comes Owen.
Yep, Owen gonna
Race
try to
lead.
chase after that. He's got Lennon for P4. Tadpole as well, breezing past Alex Bear. Little slingshot move there. I don't understand the strategy mind behind Kipu right there. It does not make sense. Unless you think because of glitches you're gonna not get disqualified from mediums, but then everyone else will notice it. He's gone medium to mediums. And if he ends up actually holding this pack up, therefore it's not Stenner who has a chance to, I mean, surely it will be Grandpa who's quite frustrated with that, as now Stenner and DRS are Grandpa.
Oof. When's Kipu gonna pit?
If
Does he
he's
think
gonna
that
pit
he can do this
and make the softs worth it, now's around the time. But has he even realized what he's done is my question. So he's got the race lead. He's keeping it now, but second place is at stake. Here we go. Stenner on the back of Grandpa. Grandpa also charging at the race lead. 3-car breakaway with Owen charging on the softs too. You saw Stenner maximize the curbs through turn 3. Now, battery up in the hands, up in the air. Here goes Grandpa, up in the air for the race lead. We're about to see 3 wide. Oh, Kipu gets overtaken, 2 and 1 right there. Grandpa off, and now Stenner to the race lead.
And Kipu through a P2 as well. This is good for him. He's going to gain massively through this middle sector here with these lot holding each other up. Yeah, he's back in it. There you go.
Now Owen needs to breeze past these
Now he's
two.
back.
That's his only hope. Hope they keep DRS for now, but get by him in the DRS and get by fast. That's the only thing you can hope for. You know,
knows he's going to be having a fight put up against him here with Stenner and Grandpa.
it
So
must be
he's
said,
got to play it careful.
Stenner's hero, I guess you could say, is Senna, from what we could tell from the Discord names that he's had. So you can only do it for him. As Grandpa now has Owen for company. Grandpa, oh, a big defense right there. Does Owen continue to send one? Oh, he's going to go from far back, though. Last of the late breakers,
move.
getting through for now. Side by side in turn 2, it's Owen who comes out in front. And luckily, with Owen being right there, Kipu has the DRS on Stenner. So now, although Owen's got the fresher tires, he's got a little backup here for now. Unless Kipu pits this lap.
That was a really, really, really good move by Owen into turn 1. Oh, Kipu going quite slow there for Owen's liking. He looked down the inside. He's not going to do it.
He would have hated if he was in the hards. It must be said hunted, because if he was in the hards, would have not helped it at all. There is contact, as you did say. And here we go. Owen continuing to follow on the fresher tires. Now the gap's outside DRS, so he's got to get by him soon enough here. It shows
Stenner
he should be pitting soon.
has the lowest DRS out of everyone here. Tadpole leaves the session. And then there goes Kipper into the pits. I don't think he's done that intentionally. I think he's done that by accident.
I can't believe that still. Either way, we have a race on our hands now. Lennon getting up to P4. Could get his best result tied again with Haas. But don't ask about any ties now, because Owen and Stenner are on for the victory. 1 and 2 they are. And now, fresher tires for Owen. Those tires will start to decline soon, but it's just a matter of when. He's got tons of speed. Here he comes on Stenner. He's closing the gap a ton. And it's only the middle sector.
These softs have really worked out really well for him. His medium stint was perfect. He dragged him out to the point of where he could no longer push any harder on him, and he's perfectly to time it with the soft strategies. He's done really well here, but it's still not over. Obviously, a couple of collisions with these two in this race. There's been a couple bit of touchy, bit of pushy. Owen's got a really good run here. Stenner isn't just going to let it go. Is Stenner going to
There you
boost
go.
along with him? He's not.
Owen snatches back the race lead, but does Stenner mount a charge toward turn 4? You have Grandpa waiting in the background. He's in perfect position if these two collide. They did earlier. Nothing too severe. Owen dumping the battery, and that's contest over for now.
That's it. Owen's just got to keep it clean, keep it consistent, and hope Stenner doesn't stick with him. I feel like the difference between the softs and the medium here is, in the race, definitely quite significant. But we know Stenner's very, very quick, but Owen's a proven Tier 2 champion, so...
He's a Tier 2 champion for a reason, and this is the place where he got to relax 2 seasons ago when he had the championship. You have a lot of people joining in for the last couple laps, whether it be through the stream, whether it be through the race. We got DRS battle for P4 still with Lennon and Molly. Molly had a podium in Italy in that same season I talked about with Owen being able to rest. In fact, it was the same race that Owen won the championship, I believe, in Monza. It was Minions out of the race, and it was Owen clinching the championship due to that. And Molly got a podium that same race. Haas had a podium the race before that, in fact, in Vegas. That's their last podium to date in Tier 2. Molly, now, gonna take P4 away from Lennon. Getting past the help of DRS, but not as easy as we thought, because Lennon snatches back the slipstream, trying to find a way back past. Can't do it, is gonna have to wait till turn 4. And Owens gaps Stenner outside of DRS.
There you go. I think it's game, set, match now, as long as he keeps clean.
You know, this move to Mercedes is going to be a very big one we're going to talk about for a while now, with Owen getting by Stenner, who has much more pace over him. It has to be said that, to me, I think it's clear as day, Owen is the faster driver over Stenner. Or sorry, Stenner is the faster driver over Owen. But Owen seems to show this race so far, he's had better strategy choices, he's had better racecraft. This is why he's a 3-time champion in Tier 2.
Thrives on his races. I feel like his qualifying lacks a little bit, but he thrives on the races. He knows what he's doing. He knows the rules like the back of his hand. He knows where he can push people wide. You know what he needs to do to keep it clean, but also quite aggressively defensive at the same time. I mean, I've been witness to that firsthand. So Owen, he knows what he's doing. He's still got 5 more laps to go on these softs here. And obviously Stennis on those mediums, and those mediums, as we know with Owen, don't go off for a little while. So when are the softs going to start running out for Owen is the question now. But I think he's got this wrapped up in the bag as he goes wide, turn 4 and turn 5.
I mean, I think he's okay as long as these softs don't die off. If he's used all of his wear in the first half of this stint, then he might get a late charge from Stenner. Is it enough, though? I don't know. Mythic and Invade now battling outside the points. This is P13 between the two. Mythic going to show him the outside line. Invade's going to go through easily. Just breezes past. J&T as well on 25 lap hards, just trying to hold on. Those hards are in puncture territory right about now. But can he make it the rest of the race? There's a good chance. You just got to hope he's saved enough tire wear with that being said. Remember, J&T spun in the opening phases of this race. The fact he's ahead of some drivers right now is very impressive indeed from him.
It's been a not a good showing for Red Bull here. Kipu with the outrageous strategy call, bringing them out into P9, looking to overtake into the P8 here. And JTK got messed up with the safety car VSC or whatever it was, and is currently sitting in P10. So it's not been a good first race for them, but I'm sure they can claw it back.
Look at last season for Red Bull. They didn't find their form until round 4, round 5. I mean, you were part of Red Bull, you know about it.
Yeah,
it took them a couple races. Bonkers is not here. He'll be here next week, it looks like. He'll be here for Alpine next week. Zatsy gets by J&T. I mean, you know, with that being said, I mean, Kipu's not their full-time driver, but he's an AlphaTauri full-time, and he's showing at least he's got good pace. He's just got to have better strategy, no doubt about it.
Now he's up behind Alex Bear, who's on 26 lap old hards.
Wow.
Same as JNT.
I mean, they
Tadpole just in front of that as well.
Kind of did get screwed by that safety car in a way. They're the only ones who really did. I mean, I can't say Wavy did because I think Wavy's lag out and spin did not help the case for him, but he definitely would have been around where these guys are at. No doubt in my mind. Gap for the lead with just a couple laps remaining, 2.7. Here's Kipu in DRS. Now looks to the inside, lunges, gets through, is ahead. P7 for him. Now P6 he chases after, but P6 with Tadpole has a penalty, so he's got P6 right now on penalties.
Then he's got Lennon in front of that. Is he going to catch on Lennon? I guess
Has
we'll
a
have to wait and
chance.
see. He really needs to get ahead of Tadpole there. I think he's going to try it in this middle sector. On this now of the wrong strategy call, he's got to start acting a little bit more aggressive.
You know, I must say, you mentioned the hards, right, with Alex Bear and JNT. You want to know what percent they're likely on right now?
Hit me.
What did you say?
Hit me. Oh, Wavy.
Oh, that's a retirement on track.
Hollywood?
You said what for the percentage? I couldn't hear you.
Tell me.
All right. Probably once they finish this lap, they'll be on 75% on the hards. So they're pushing it on making it to the end. There you go. There's part of that. Is it a puncture, though? That's what our next question is. Doesn't look like it, though.
Doesn't look like it.
Tadpole gets overtaken for P6 with Kipu. And there you go. No more battles on the track except for outside the points. JNT is part of that, and he's one who's on very worn hards, and Alex Bear pits.
Alex Bear, your Spa winner from last season. Not a good showing from him out in the Ferrari.
Yeah, I mean, it also didn't help his qualifying, too. He was one of those guys who got hindered by that qualifying.
No, as we said, big shock of him heading out, along with someone like Grandpa, but Grandpa's pulled it back to P3. Sitting there pretty comfortably.
Yeah, I mean, look at Ferrari. They have one car outside the points. I know Stenner's only P2 right now, but they've been in the points every time since round 11, this race, season 9. I mean, Red Bull are going to continue their point streak by the looks of things right now, too. 27 races, they'll make it. AlphaTauri have no car in this race. No points since round 3. Austria, so we'll see if they go a full season without scoring any. I mean, the only battles on track are P10, P6, and then we could see something for the race lead if Owen's tires end up dropping off big time, but I really doubt that'll be the case. He's done a good job, and it must be said, he had a podium in the Season 9 season opener. He's had a podium the previous season before that in Australia, and now it looks like the two podiums show that the third time's the charm. It could be converted to a win.
Ooh, Alex Bear's going to himself back a point.
There you go.
Into P9.
Hopefully he's
So
not
it's not all
involved in
doom
any
and gloom.
race incidents, therefore he can keep it. They've been on podium, Ferrari, as well. 10 of the last 12 races. Didn't get a podium at the season finale here last season, so a lot to look forward to. Final lap about to be underway from Owen. 2.5 the gap. You can see Stenner has really gained that gap, in fact, but not enough to do anything crucial in the last couple of sectors here. It must be said, with Owen from Mercedes, they needed this kind of race, and they needed this kind of return after not winning last season at all.
No, he's had a really, really good showing out. He's really, really good strategy call from him. And going on to those softs, the amazing medium stint he put in. And I think a lot of credit's got to go to JNT for 29 laps on hard tyres.
Yeah. Alex Bear couldn't do it. You know?
No? Fun.
I must say, we do have some contenders for driver of the day. Owen's one of them. Grandpa's one of them. Just a couple names to put out there already, but last ditch effort here for JNT and Zatsy. Alex Bear fastest lap. Can JNT get him into the first turn? Doesn't look like he's close enough. The only other battle is P6, P7 with Kipu and Tadpole, but here comes Owen into the final sector for the final time. He switched from Haas to Mercedes. He was the champion the season before that. He switches to a team that hadn't won since season 9, round 11. The same season, he claimed the championship for Red Bull. The three-time champ is back on top, and so is Mercedes. Owen wins the Brazilian GP. Back on top is Owen. The Irish driver does it once again. Winner of Brazil at last. Stenner, P2. Grandpa, P3. Molly, P4. And a run to the line with Lennon going to hold on for P5. Yellow flags. That is for Tadpole out of fuel, it looks like. Or got a puncture maybe. I don't know. Something happened there to where he was the cause of the yellow flags. Gecko P8. JTK still fighting Alex Bear until Nepsofts. He's going to be P9. And Alex Bear is going to be the last points runner. Wow.
That was a good race. I enjoyed that.
JNT comes across the line on 31 lap hards without a puncture. Give it up for him, who ended up going a long, long way on those tires. 85% he's around in terms of his tire wear. Top 3 driver of the day worthy performance for that kind of thing. Not my driver of the day, though. I'm going to give that to either Owen or Grandpa. I'll decide here soon.
I know who mine is.
Who are you saying?
I'm gonna say Owen.
I'll agree with you, just to decide.
he's gone from Haas. He's got 3 championships to his name. He knows what the top step's like, but he's put in a huge stint on the mediums in a Mercedes, which around Mercedes isn't the quickest car.
No, it's not.
Helped with Stenner's spin. Yes, I know, and Grandpa put in an effort to gain 11 positions, but Owen put Mercedes back on the top step, and after a bit of a lackluster season last season, so I think big props have got to go to Owen, and then so I'd quite comfortably say I think Owen is my driver of the day.
I would agree with you, honestly. The fact that not won in 12 races, that is the scary part for them. You've had McLaren, Ferrari, Red Bull win since then. You've had Ferrari win a first Tier 2 championship since then. The fact that he's got Mercedes back on form, Owen and Beatnik, the only winners for Mercedes on this game cycle. Now you see your final results. We mentioned Owen as driver of the day, but what comes as a shock and what comes as a disappointment to you?
A shock is Kipu's strategy call.
Yeah,
I'd say my shock is probably Alex Bear finishing in P10. I think a big part that had to play into that was definitely the this weird safety car sort of glitch we had. But yeah, I'd say Alex Bear. I was rooting for him to win this, and I'd say what was it? And I'd say probably the good thing about it was Owen winning. I mean, he's put him back on top step. I mean, you can't argue it, can you? He's done really, really well. He's proven why he's a 3-time Tier 2 champion right in that race.
I think with Alex Bear, I can't really say he's a disappointment just because the safety car. I think the more disappointing thing is that we didn't have any red flag issues, but we had a safety car issue with formation lap being on. So,
well, if we're not going to think Alex Bear, then I'd say Stenner for spinning it. He shouldn't.
I agree, because realistically, with his pace, he should have been 5 seconds ahead of Owen by the end of the race.
Can I try
even with that strategy?
Can I try and invite Owen?
What? What did you say?
I'm going to try and invite Owen and see if he'd join. Would he join?
I was about to end it off.
Wouldn't he join? Let's wait and see. He probably won't.
I'll have to go after this, though.
Oh, no. It's fine. You go. Yes.
Either way, just quickly, I'll say, shocker in terms of good things. I'm not going to put the race on him too much because it was a little rusty, but I think Zatsi in his return showed why Williams is not as disappointing as we think, really. And they've got, next week, they've got, trying to think of who they got. They have Leon as well for a full race this time in Texas. And Gaggi comes back from a race ban, so AlphaTauri will get a chance to put some points on the board. So I'd say Zatsi is a shock for a good reason, and another shock for a good reason as well, I would say, is McLaren as a whole, because they have a lot more of a stronger lineup this time around. Disappointment, Red Bull as a team. Mm-hmm. As for a driver, yeah, I mean, there's a couple, but I think it just comes down to a couple people. Both Red Bulls were a little disappointing. I don't think JTK was too disappointing, but Kipu's strategy call was pretty bad. I'll just say overall, driver and team, both Red Bull disappointment.
I'd
I can't
agree.
get behind how you can bottle a strategy that badly. Kipu usually keeps his car out of trouble. He'll be doing great in that AlphaTauri, keeping it out of trouble, but he's got to put the racecraft together, and he's got to put strategy together, or else that team is not getting points. That team is not. They've not scored points since Austria, round 3 of last season. And that's my worry for them, that they're not going to do that. But he got a chance in Red Bull today to prove himself and say, maybe I can be in this car over JTK and alongside Bonkers, but strategy call-wise, I don't think he proved anything.
He was looking like proving
Pace,
himself.
he was good. He was good on pace.
He was up there. He was net P1 at one point, and
It's the strategy call
it's
that
the strategy.
is bad.
I just don't know what he did.
You can't do anything in an RPL race if you have bad strategy, let alone bad racecraft. You
It's
can get on the
realistic
podium like
cars.
Florian. Did we mention racecraft being bad? You can get on the podium, but you're not going to do anything special when that's the case. And we saw that be the case. I mean, strategy basically won this race with Owen, if you think about it.
It really did.
So I had on my notes, I didn't mention it because you're unlikely to get it. He was the only one to do soft to mediums or medium to softs. And that's the Hail Mary. And he pulled off a Hail Mary, you can say.
He's the F1's
Well,
Cam Newton.
yeah, yeah, you could say that. Yeah, fair play. Well, we'll see if Cam Newton can win next week. All right, either way, Tier 2 next week is at Texas. This weekend for the final ever F2 race. We're going to try to rerun it once again. We'll see if it works out. We'll let you know if there'll be any stream. We'll give you any heads up. As for F1 and F2, same track tomorrow. Bahrain, season opener for F1, F2, last ever F2 race. And next week, join the action. Texas. Buggity buggity. We'll see what happens there. We're going to get our cowboy hats out. No, we'll figure out what happens next week. Either way, I'm ending it off. Ryan Searles, Hunted ALX, signing off. Excuse me. Wow. I'm all messed up. Signing
Been
off.
an absolute pleasure.
It has. Glad to have
I've
you
enjoyed
alongside me. Maybe some more in the future. Until next time. Until next event you all choose to tune into. We'll see you then. Good night. And we'll see you
In
next
Texas.
time.